In the ever-evolving landscape of our nation, a new chilling revelation has come to light, one that demands the immediate attention of every American who cherishes their freedom and the state of national preparedness. The fabric of the United States, a tapestry woven with the threads of liberty, resilience, and unity, is under an unprecedented threat. This isn't just another theory circulating in the undercurrents of society. It's a stark reality that has surfaced after months of meticulous investigation. The findings, conspiracy so significant, it has the potential to drastically alter the very essence of our country's current state. For too long, we've navigated through survival scenarios, economic downturns, and natural disasters, believing we understood the full spectrum of threats faced by our nation. However, the situation that has recently been brought to light eclipses all previous crises in both magnitude and severity. It's a dire warning for us all, signaling that the time for complacency is over. We are now faced with a critical moment in history, one that requires our undivided attention and immediate action. The purpose of this video is not just to alarm, but to inform. Through extensive research and investigation, a sinister plan has been exposed, a plan meticulously designed to undermine the freedoms and liberties we hold dear. The evidence is undeniable. The hidden agenda is deeply troubling and the potential impact on our nation catastrophic. This is a call to action for all vigilant citizens, preppers, and patriots alike. It's time to rally together to stay informed, prepared, and ready to defend the ideals and realities we believe in. What has been uncovered will shock you, but knowledge is power, and with awareness comes the ability to stand strong in the face of adversity. Let's delve deeper into the chilling truth that awaits us. 1. Immigration crisis unfolds nationwide. The United States stands at a pivotal moment in its history, facing a crisis that spans across at least 10 states, fundamentally challenging the nation's principles of border security and immigration policy. This situation, particularly pronounced in New York and California, has ignited a complex debate on the capacity and moral obligation of states to manage a significant influx of immigrants. The unfolding events bring to light profound questions about national identity, state rights, and the human element at the heart of immigration policies. At the core of this crisis is Texas's decision to send a large number of illegal immigrants to New York and Illinois, states that have historically shown a willingness to accept and integrate these individuals into their communities. This action by Texas is not merely a statement on immigration, but a reflection of the broader political and social divisions within the country. It underscores a strategic shift in how states are dealing with the challenges posed by immigration, pushing the burden from one state to another, thereby nationalizing the issue. Complicating the scenario is the migration of many immigrants from colder states like New York to California, drawn by the latter's more favorable climate and the promise of better benefits. California, in an unprecedented move, has expanded healthcare coverage for low-income illegal immigrants, a policy change that is expected to draw more immigrants, potentially adding over 700,000 individuals to the healthcare system at an annual cost of about $3.01 billion. This bold step by California represents a significant financial and social commitment to the welfare of immigrants, reflecting a broader vision of inclusivity and support for marginalized communities. The dynamics of this crisis are not confined to the borders of any single state, but affect nearly 20 states across the country. Immigrants are entering the U.S. through Texas, identified as the easiest entry point, and dispersing across the nation for various reasons, including climate preferences and the availability of services. This widespread movement highlights the interconnectedness of states and the collective impact of immigration on the country. Amidst this unfolding crisis, congressional negotiations about a bill to address the challenges are ongoing, facing significant opposition from various quarters. The debate in Congress mirrors the complexity of the issue, with divergent views on how best to manage the influx of immigrants, balance the needs of states, and uphold the principles of justice and compassion that define the American ethos. The federal government, caught between enforcing deportation policies and adopting welcoming measures, finds itself in a precarious position. Efforts to manage the influx are challenged by the sheer numbers of arriving immigrants, making the situation increasingly complex and testing the limits of existing policies and resources. This delicate balancing act reflects the broader struggle to reconcile the ideals of freedom and opportunity with the realities of security and economic constraints. As the crisis unfolds, it becomes clear that the stakes are high, not just for the states directly affected, but for the nation as a whole. The way forward requires a nuanced understanding of the issues at play, a commitment to dialogue and compromise, and a recognition of the human stories behind the headlines. The situation calls for innovative solutions that balance the need for security with the imperative of compassion, reflecting the best of American values. Talk to navigating financial uncertainties in the ever-turbulent sea of the financial markets, where fortunes can turn with the wind. The recent developments surrounding the January payroll report have sent ripples far and wide, challenging expectations and strategies alike. The anticipation surrounding market reactions to economic indicators is a testament to the precarious balance investors must maintain in a world where certainty is a luxury few can afford. Amid this backdrop, the situation following the strong January payroll report offers a fascinating case study into market dynamics and investor psychology. The conventional wisdom leading up to the release of the January payroll report was clear. Strong showing would signal robust economic health, potentially prompting the Federal Reserve to maintain or increase interest rates to curb inflation. This scenario typically spells bad news for bonds, as higher interest rates can lead to lower bond prices. Investors braced for impact, with many eyeing the exit doors, ready to pivot away from bonds in anticipation of a market downturn. However, the reality that unfolded was markedly different from the dire predictions. Despite concerns that bonds would plummet in the wake of the report, the market reaction was surprisingly subdued. This unexpected resilience in the face of ostensibly negative news highlights a fundamental truth about financial markets. They are complex systems influenced by a myriad of factors, not all of which are immediately apparent or fully understood. The muted reaction to the payroll report suggests that other dynamics were at play, tempering the market's response. Several possibilities emerge upon closer examination. Perhaps investors had already priced in the expectation of a strong report, leaving little room for additional shock. Alternatively, other underlying economic indicators may have provided a counterbalance, offering reassurance about the broader economic landscape. It's also possible that the market's focus has shifted, with investors prioritizing other considerations over immediate interest rate concerns. This episode serves as a stark reminder of the perils of prediction in the financial markets. What seems like a straightforward cause and effect relationship can quickly unravel, leaving even seasoned investors scratching their heads. The ability to anticipate market movements requires not only a deep understanding of economic fundamentals, but also an appreciation for the psychological and behavioral aspects of investing. For investors, the lesson is clear. Flexibility and adaptability are paramount. Rigid adherence to preconceived notions can lead to missed opportunities and unnecessary losses. Instead, investors must remain vigilant, continuously updating their strategies in light of new information and shifting dynamics. This approach demands a keen awareness of market sentiment, a thorough analysis of economic indicators, and a willingness to question and revise assumptions. The situation also underscores the importance of diversification. In a world where market reactions can defy expectations, spreading investments across a variety of asset classes can provide a buffer against unforeseen volatility by not putting all their eggs in one basket. Investors can navigate the choppy waters of the financial markets with greater confidence, capitalizing on opportunities while mitigating risks. 3. Economic turmoil hits auto sector. The ripple effects of economic downturns and shifts in consumer behavior often find a focal point in sectors critical to everyday life, one of which is the auto industry. The recent surge in auto loan delinquencies, marked by a staggering 26% increase in the rate of people falling 60 days or more behind on their payments compared to the previous year, signals a crisis reminiscent of 2010's financial turbulence. This alarming trend not only underscores the fragility of consumer financial health, but also casts a long shadow over the future of auto finance and ownership. The comparison with the situation last seen more than a decade ago paints a grim picture of the current financial landscape for millions of Americans. The rise in delinquency rates is a symptom of a broader economic malaise, exacerbated by high interest rates and the resumption of student loan payments, putting additional strain on household budgets. This financial squeeze is forcing many to make hard choices about which debts to prioritize, with auto loans increasingly falling by the wayside. At the heart of this crisis is the depreciating value of used cars, which has plunged by an average of 21% from all-time highs, according to the Manheim Used Vehicle Value Index. This depreciation is a double-edged sword. While it presents a buying opportunity for some, it places existing owners and lenders in a precarious position. The mismatch between the loan amounts and the current value of the vehicles raises questions about the financial wisdom of continuing to service these loans especially when the asset backing them has lost a significant portion of its value. The escalation in auto loan delinquency rates to levels not witnessed since 1996 is a clear indicator of the compounded financial burden facing consumers. The convergence of resumed student loan payments, inflation, high gas prices, and job cuts has created a perfect storm, pushing many to the brink of financial ruin. The resultant spike in car repossession serves as a stark reminder of the systemic issues plaguing the auto finance sector, highlighting the vulnerability of both consumers and lenders to macroeconomic shifts. This deteriorating situation has profound implications for the auto market and broader economic health. For car owners, the increasing likelihood of repossession and bankruptcy signals a deepening affordability crisis, with the average car loan payment reaching unsustainable levels for many. This crisis is not just about numbers on a balance sheet. It reflects real hardships for families and individuals struggling to keep their vehicles a vital lifeline for employment, education, and daily living. The auto industry stands at a crossroads, with the current crisis prompting a reevaluation of ownership models, financing mechanisms, and the very nature of mobility. Manufacturers and dealerships are increasingly exploring alternatives to traditional purchase models, including leasing and subscription services, as well as promoting more affordable electric vehicle options in response to changing consumer preferences and environmental concerns. As the industry navigates this transformative period, the lessons learned from the current crisis will likely shape future strategies. The emphasis may shift towards more sustainable and flexible models of vehicle ownership and financing, reflecting a broader societal move towards resilience and adaptability in the face of economic uncertainty. 4. Massie exposes surveillance gaps. The January 6th incident, a day already etched in the annals of American history for the Capitol riot, has another layer of intrigue that has recently come under the spotlight, adding to the complexity of the events of that day. Among the myriad of unfolding stories, one particular narrative that stands out involves Congressman Thomas Massie's revelations concerning an enigmatic figure known only as the backpack guy and the FBI's puzzling inability to track him down despite extensive surveillance footage and data. This aspect of the January 6th narrative not only deepens the mystery, but also raises profound questions about surveillance, security, and the efficiency of federal agencies in dealing with potential threats. The backpack guy, as referred to by Congressman Massie, has become a focal point of contention and speculation. The term itself evokes images of a lone figure, potentially carrying ominous contents in his backpack, navigating through the chaos undetected or, more perplexingly, unapprehended. The fact that this individual, despite presumably being captured on various surveillance cameras in an age where digital footprints are omnipresent, remains unidentified and untraceable, is baffling. How can someone involved in an event of such magnitude, surrounded by one of the most sophisticated surveillance systems in the world, simply vanish into thin air? The inability of the FBI to provide answers or track down this individual has led to increasing scrutiny of the Bureau's capabilities and intentions. In an era where the average citizen's movements can be traced through a plethora of digital means, mom cell phone location data to credit card transactions, the failure to locate someone linked to a significant security threat is alarming. It suggests either a remarkable oversight or, as some speculate, a more sinister reluctance to disclose available information. This lack of transparency does little to instill public confidence in the institutions meant to protect them. Moreover, Congressman Massie's revelations hint at a broader narrative of potential cover-ups and misinformation. Your mention of the backpack guy is not just a call to action for the authorities to enhance their investigative efforts. It represents a critical examination of the systems in place that are supposed to safeguard national security. If a figure so central to an incident of this scale can remain at large or unidentified, it undermines the perceived omnipotence of national surveillance and raises uncomfortable questions about what else might be missed or intentionally overlooked. This situation transcends the immediate concern of a potential security threat and ventures into the realm of public trust and institutional integrity. The expectation that federal agencies operate with a level of competence and transparency commensurate with the powers they wield is foundational to democratic governance. When these institutions fail to meet these expectations, either through ineptitude or obfuscation, it erodes the bedrock of public confidence and invites skepticism and conspiracy theories to fill the void left by unanswered questions. Furthermore, the implications of this scenario extend beyond the events of January 6th. They touch upon the very essence of how security operations are conducted, the balance between surveillance and civil liberties, and the accountability of federal agencies to the public they serve. In an age where privacy is increasingly precious and trust in institutions is fragile, the story of the backpack guy and the ensuing fallout is a poignant reminder of the need for vigilance, transparency, and relentless pursuit of truth. 5. Border security controversies. In recent times, the United States has found itself at a crossroads, grappling with deep-seated divisions that cut across various aspects of society. One of the most contentious issues exacerbating these divisions is the nation's immigration policy. Amidst the myriad challenges and debates surrounding this issue, one particular point of concern that stands out starkly is the increase in individuals on the terrorist watch list being stopped at the southern border. This development underscores potential security risks and contributes to the heated discourse on how the country manages its borders and, by extension, its national security. The presence of individuals on the terrorist watch list at the southern border is not just a statistic. It's a stark reminder of the complexities and dangers associated with managing international borders in today's globalized world. The fact that these individuals have been stopped suggests that the mechanisms in place for identifying potential threats are operational. However, the very occurrence of such interceptions raises pertinent questions about the effectiveness and efficiency of the current border management strategies employed by the United States. This situation becomes even more critical when viewed against the backdrop of the broader immigration debate. The United States has long prided itself on being a land of opportunity, a sanctuary for those seeking refuge and a better life. Yet the discovery of individuals on the terrorist watch list attempting to cross the border highlights a grim reality. Among the many who come seeking hope, there may be those who wish to do harm. How to presents a significant challenge. How to remain open and welcoming while ensuring the safety and security of the nation and its inhabitants. Critics of the current administration point to these occurrences as evidence of a slow response to border management, highlighting what they perceive as a vulnerability in national security. They argue that while the United States must uphold its values of compassion and openness, it must also prioritize the safety of its citizens. This perspective has fueled calls for stricter border controls and more rigorous vetting processes, with proponents emphasizing the need to prevent individuals who pose a threat from entering the country. However, the discourse surrounding this issue is far from monolithic. Advocates for more lenient immigration policies argue that the focus on individuals on the terrorist watch list, while important, should not overshadow the broader humanitarian considerations that underpin the immigration debate. They contend that the United States has a moral obligation to provide refuge to those fleeing violence and persecution, and that stringent border controls could unduly penalize those genuinely in need of protection. This dichotomy reflects the broader divisions within American society regarding how to balance security concerns with humanitarian obligations. The increase in individuals on the terrorist watch list being stopped at the southern border acts as a lightning rod for these debates, encapsulating the fears, challenges, and moral dilemmas that come with crafting an effective and humane immigration policy. As the United States continues to navigate these turbulent waters, the need for a balanced and effective approach to immigration policy becomes ever more apparent. Such an approach must address the legitimate security concerns raised by the presence of individuals on the terrorist watch list at the border, while also upholding the nation's values and commitments to providing sanctuary to those in need. Achieving this balance is no small feat, but it is essential for ensuring the long-term sustainability and unity of the country. 6. Chinese espionage in the U.S. The revelation of potential Chinese operatives within the United States borders, as noted by the FBI, marks a critical juncture in the complex web of international relations and cybersecurity. This situation not only raises questions about national security, but also shines a light on the broader dynamics of global power plays, espionage, and the digital age's new battlegrounds. The presence of these operatives, suspected to be part of a larger strategy by China to assert its influence and possibly undermine its interests, underscores the multifaceted challenges that the U.S. faces in safeguarding its national security. The context of this concern is situated within an era where traditional warfare has been supplemented, and in some cases supplanted, by cyber operations. The advantage held by Chinese cyber forces, as highlighted by FBI Director Christopher Wray, points to a significant disparity in the cyber capabilities between the US and China. This numerical superiority of Chinese hackers poses a profound threat not merely in terms of potential espionage activities, but also in the broader scope of cyber warfare, where critical infrastructure, government databases, and the very fabric of society can be targeted. The implications of having potential Chinese operatives on American soil extend beyond the immediate threats of espionage. It suggests a boldness in strategy and an investment in long-term operations that could span several sectors, from technological to industrial and even into the socio-political realms. The ability of these operatives to blend into the migrant flows, particularly noted in California, adds a layer of complexity to the challenge of identifying and countering their activities. This method of infiltration reflects a sophisticated understanding of migration patterns and the utilization of global mobility as a cover for espionage. Amidst these revelations, the allegations that China has embedded Trojan horses within critical U.S. infrastructure represent a ticking time bomb scenario. The Trojan horse analogy, drawn from ancient warfare where enemies were hidden within a gift, is apt for the modern cyber context. It suggests that the threat is not just external, but has been insidiously placed within the heart of American systems, lying dormant until activated. The potential for sabotage, disruption, or theft of sensitive information poses a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities inherent in an interconnected world. The presence of potential Chinese operatives and the embedded threats within critical infrastructure raise pertinent questions about the efficacy of current counter-espionage measures. The challenge is not only in detecting and neutralizing these threats, but also in doing so in a manner that does not erode the civil liberties and open nature of American society. The balance between security and freedom is a delicate one, made even more precarious by the need to act against adversaries who may not play by the same rules. Furthermore, this situation illuminates the broader geopolitical tensions that underpin these security concerns. The strained relationship between the U.S. and China, exacerbated by US support for Ukraine against Russia and involvement in Middle Eastern conflicts, provides a backdrop against which these acts of espionage and cyber aggression are played out. It highlights a global chessboard where power, influence, and security are constantly being negotiated, often at the expense of smaller players caught in the crossfire.